Number 10. Joseph McCullen. A part-time police officer in Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania found himself on the wrong side of the law. Fellow officers accused Joseph McCullen of stealing marijuana from a police evidence room. His boss has now suspended McCullen without pay from his job at the Dalton Police Department. According to court documents, in an interview, the officer admitted to a past drug problem, saying too much work had caught up with him and the marijuana helped him chill out. Prosecutors have charged the 34-year-old man with theft and tampering with evidence, among other charges. It's heartbreaking because you see, again, a police officer that makes a mistake that shows other police officers in a bad light. Deputy District Attorney Shane Scanlon said, investigators believe he might have gone into the Dalton Police evidence room twice in about a week late last November. Detectives think he used his clothes to cover a camera that films the evidence room for about 9 minutes during the first incident. The second time, the camera captured him going into the room, coming out, and putting something he had removed in his pocket. I'm amazed. I'm surprised. I really am, Jeff Klinkle of Dalton said. News of the man's arrest has spread swiftly in this usually otherwise quiet town. I think he's a good guy, but what can I say? He should have not done that, obviously, Klinkle added. Members of the community say the arrest shows the problem of the addictive nature of drugs. They hope a powerful message is sent to other officers if the allegations turn out to be true. Investigators found out marijuana was stolen from the two pending cases by weighing the pot. Detectives reported McCullen admitted to stealing the pot in interviews. You can take it for what it's worth. Signs of desperation, or just really someone who was not thinking clearly, Scanlon said. The Dalton Police Department employed McCullen for the last year and a half. He is currently free on unsecured bail. Number 9. Michael Baker. In 2012, a photo of a young man siphoning gasoline from a police car in Jenkins County, Kentucky, while flipping the middle finger at the camera, went viral on Facebook. He was identified as a 20-year-old coal miner named Michael Baker, and his bold behavior soon caught up with him. Someone passed the photo on to the local police, who charged Baker with theft by unlawful taking. In an interview with local station WYMT, he insisted it was a staged photo and a prank, a misunderstanding. Baker said that he and his girlfriend, Joanne Sandlin, were bored and thought it would be funny to take a picture and post it on social media. Sandlin also told WYMT that the photo was a prank, adding that she wouldn't have posted it online if she and Baker had any actual plans to siphon gas from a police cruiser. The authorities failed to see the humor. In the words of Jenkins Police Chief Alan Borms, if they're going to do it to a police car, they're going to do it to just about anybody. And the incident may have been more than a harmless joke after all. Baker reportedly admitted to getting a small amount of gasoline out of the squad car's tank because there wasn't much fuel in it to begin with. Shortly after the incident, Chief Borm said that the department was considering putting locking caps on the gas tanks of the police cars to prevent any more fuel from being stolen. So maybe this started out as a prank, but it just got out of hand. Number 8. Tosha Sponsler. One day in 2017, police in Lufkin, Texas were called to a retail store to investigate a recent theft. The suspect, 33-year-old Tosha Sponsler, ran from the scene. Officers soon caught up to her and arrested her for evading arrest on foot. They handcuffed the woman and put her in the back of a patrol car. Sponsler slipped one of her hands free from the cuffs at some point. As soon as she had the opportunity, she got into the driver's seat and took off in the police car. She barreled straight towards an officer parked in the center turn lane, and they only narrowly avoided a crash thanks to his quick maneuvering. A 25-minute chase ensued, ending with Sponsler back in handcuffs and police custody. She now faced much more severe charges, including evading arrest in a vehicle while using a deadly weapon, aggravated assault on a public servant with a deadly weapon, and more. A jury convicted Sponsler of all charges and sentenced her to 45 years behind bars. She appealed the ruling, claiming that there was insufficient evidence to find her guilty on some charges, but her conviction was upheld, and she now has more time to reflect on her actions from behind bars. Number 7. Jennifer Stewart. Police in Nashville, Texas arrested 31-year-old Jennifer Stewart in 2019 after responding to a call about a car break-in at a local car wash. Stewart was accused of committing the break-in and beating the vehicle's owner. Officers put her in the back of a squad car and told her to wait while they sorted the situation out. While they spoke with the victim, Stewart got behind the wheel and sped off. Surveillance footage revealed the woman had wriggled past the divider and crawled from the back seat into the front. At least a dozen vehicles embarked on a high-speed chase. They disabled the stolen car using spike strips. Stewart was charged with burglary of a motor vehicle, evading arrest, vehicle theft, and vandalism. Much more serious crimes that she would have faced if she had cooperated with the police. In addition, the arrest report failed to explain a motive. In the aftermath of the bizarre ordeal, the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department announced that an investigation was underway to determine how Stewart stole a car in the presence of officers. Number 6. Angie Frost. In March 2018, a woman named Angie Frost was pulled over by Tulsa police on suspicion of driving a stolen vehicle. She insisted a friend named Steven had loaned her his car because she was moving, and that she did not know it had been reported stolen. Dashcam and body cam footage later revealed that Frost became tearful during the conversation, saying that she was facing years in prison if she got in trouble. But the 3 officers at the scene remained suspicious. One of them handcuffed Angie with her hands behind her back and had her sit in the passenger seat of his patrol car while he dealt with the situation at hand. At some point, police realized that Angie's friend Steven had taken the vehicle from his mother without her permission. He told his mom that Miss Frost had then stolen the car from him. When the officers weren't looking, she got her cuffed hands in front of her body. Then, she crawled into the driver's seat and took off. It was a short chase. Police followed the woman to a hotel, where she got out of the vehicle and ran. She didn't get very far before the police had her back in custody. Frost made headlines again in 2020 when she was accused of killing 51-year-old Stephen Wood inside his Tulsa home. She claimed that the man had groped her and that she hit him with a table lamp to get him off her before another person came into the apartment and strangled Wood to death. But the authorities didn't buy her story and charged her with first-degree murder and 2 counts of possession of a stolen car for fleeing the scene in the victim's truck. Number 5. Joshua SWARTOUT. After being arrested on suspicion of a car theft last year, a 23-year-old man named Joshua SWARTOUT escaped custody while being transferred to a detention facility. During the drive to jail, the officer transporting SWARTOUT pulled over to assist with a serious motorcycle accident. Unfortunately, he left the suspect sitting in the front passenger seat. While the officer focused on the crash, SWARTOUT slid behind the wheel and took off in the police cruiser. A 30-mile chase ensued, with the suspect hitting speeds of up to 100 miles an hour, despite having his hands cuffed behind his back. Even more shockingly, the pursuit didn't end until the car SWARTOUT was driving ran out of gas, at which point he pulled over and fled on foot. Police soon caught up with him and took him back to jail. Only this time, he faced much more severe charges than he initially gotten in trouble for. Kansas Highway Patrol spokesperson Trooper Todd Hallman told ABC News that he assumed SWARTOUT drove using his knees, and while it's never okay to commit the crimes that the young man is accused of, that he emerged from the chase uninjured and without crashing the car is impressive, especially since it involved driving along narrow stretches of highway with a ditch on either side. Number 4. Chaos in Colorado Springs. Police in Colorado Springs recently went to an apartment complex in response to a reported assault with a knife. Witnesses told officers that the suspect had threatened someone with a knife while demanding a ride from the person, and that they escaped. But the suspect allegedly came back to the apartment and killed someone, then assaulted a responding officer, causing another policeman to shoot at him. It's unclear whether the bullet struck the man who took off in a stolen police cruiser. The chase ended when the thief crashed the cop car into several vehicles. He was taken into custody and is accused of homicide, attempted carjacking, and assault. The suspect's name is being withheld as the El Paso County Sheriff's Office takes over the investigation, and the authorities are remaining tight-lipped about the case for now. The I-25 highway was shut down for hours because of the high-speed pursuit and the multiple crashes because of the suspect's recklessness. Officials have not revealed whether any motorists were hurt in the collisions. Number 3. Lorenzo Leon Taylor. Officers recently received a call about a domestic disturbance inside a vehicle along an interstate in Brandon, Missouri. They learned from the tipster that the suspect had walked away from the scene. When they caught up with Lorenzo Leon Taylor, it quickly became apparent that he would not cooperate, according to a police statement. The man was carrying what looked like a bag, and it seemed to officers like he was trying to get something out of it. When he was asked what he was digging for, Taylor allegedly responded by saying, "I have the same thing you do," sparking concerns that he might have a gun. An officer tried to take the bag, and a struggle ensued, during which the suspect attempted to steal the cop's firearm. He shoved the policeman to the ground, got into a SWAT car, and drove off, knocking the officer into oncoming traffic. Thankfully, the officer only suffered minor injuries. The officer fired a bullet into the driver's side window, striking Taylor's hand, but it didn't stop him from speeding away. Police stopped the vehicle a few minutes later after a chase involving multiple law enforcement agencies. EMTs treated Taylor's injury at the scene, and he was taken into custody. He reportedly continued to act uncooperative and kicked out the windows of a transport vehicle while being driven to the Rankin County Jail. Police say that Taylor has an extensive criminal record and was wearing an ankle monitor relating to prior offenses in Mississippi at the time of his arrest. Number 2. FBI seeks police property thief. Someone recently broke into a police and fire uniform supplier in Weymouth, Massachusetts, in the middle of the night and stole Boston police uniforms. An employee discovered evidence of the break-in the following day and contacted law enforcement, who determined that the thief or group of thieves had made off with 4 uniforms. Several of the store's drawers had been rummaged through, and the intruders had left behind a bag filled with flashlights, handcuffs, mace, riot-style helmets, and other police equipment. Weymouth Police Lieutenant Thomas Farrell told Boston 25 News that 4 Boston police dress coats and 4 pairs of pants were missing, and a leather jacket. The thieves also took a lightweight jacket, a short-sleeved shirt similar to what bike patrol officers wear, and a bullet-resistant vest. Farrell admitted detectives were uncertain of why someone stole the uniforms, but the detectives were primarily concerned with the Boston Marathon just weeks away. He also pointed out that there may be no connection between the uniform theft and the marathon, and that someone may have planned to use the stolen property for unrelated, albeit criminal, reasons. Thankfully, the marathon began with no significant problems. The FBI is assisting the Weymouth police in the investigation and has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the suspect's arrest. For some, the case has brought up memories from the case in 1990 that remains unsolved to this day. In what may be the most sophisticated heist in the region's history, a group of thieves dressed as Boston police stole $1 million worth of valuable artwork from the Gardner Museum. The paintings were never recovered, and the criminals remain at large over 30 years later. Number 1. Aaron Higgins. An officer who works for the New Albany Police Department in Indiana was recently about to leave his house and drive to work. He discovered that his patrol vehicle was missing from his driveway. The marked car had been stolen in the early morning hours with an AR-15 and a .308 caliber rifle inside, along with a tactical vest and several other pieces of equipment. Officers located the Dodge Charger in a neighboring county later that day. A SWAT team later found and captured the suspect, who was identified as 27-year-old Aaron Higgins in nearby Marengo, Indiana. He was booked into the Harrison County Jail on a vehicle theft charge and may face other charges. The Harrison County Sheriff's Office has taken over the case and is attempting to determine how the car was stolen. In a statement, New Albany Police Department Chief Todd Bailey thanked the many law enforcement agencies that helped recover the stolen vehicle and apprehend the suspect. He reassures local residents that the public's safety and trust are the agency's top priorities. The department plans to review its procedures to prevent something like this from happening again. Thanks for watching. Would you rather find out that your best friend was facing jail time for stealing a police car, or get caught complaining about your boss during a Zoom meeting because you didn't realize the microphone was on? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you again soon.